Patagonia could be a big waste of time and money. It could be cold, it could be rainy, and just really uncomfortable. I mean, the weather changes so much that a hike to Torres Del Paine, a dream destination for most, could just turn into a view for clouds. Just clouds, that's all you're gonna see. Not only that, Patagonia is at the end of the world. It could be very expensive and time-consuming to get to that location. And although this place is covered by natural beauty from turquoise lakes, glaciers, and beautiful mountain landscapes, you could end up just hurting yourself trying to enjoy all of it. If you don't believe me, ask Whitney. So Whitney, was it worth it?
Yes, I hurt myself. My left knee hurt for about 3 weeks straight. But we got to see incredible places like Torres Del Paine. I got to do a bucket list item, which was seeing the whales in the Magallanes Strait. We got to see penguins, and we saw so many glaciers really up close that I can't even remember all of them. So yes, it is expensive. It's far away. You risk the chance of seeing only clouds and maybe not seeing any whales or very few whales, but everything is worth it because the beauty of Patagonia, it's unmeasurable.
This was the big mistake. The big mistake was the fact that Whitney did hurt her knee the weekend before we went on our trip. In fact, we were in the Cancun dunes playing around, doing something, and I don't know, at some point Whitney was like, oh, I did something weird. If my knee feels kind of weird, but we didn't pay much attention to it. Yet we were back in Santiago the following Monday, did a hike, and when he was like, man, my knee's really hurting, and it just progressively started hurting more and more and more. And then by Thursday, we were on the trail to go see Torres Del Paine, and for Whitney, it was an excruciating experience, and for me, it was pretty awesome.
It was excruciatingly,
Okay, say that word again.
it was excruciatingly painful.
You know you gotta use that word.
It was incredibly painful, but I had to make it to the top. I could not give up on my dream of seeing Torres del Paine. I had to convince Johnny for a long time to get me there, and I wasn't going to miss that chance.
So don't follow Whitney's example. You should take care of yourself. Thankfully, Whitney did not get injured more. It was probably just like a level 2 sprain or something like that that took about a month for it to go away. However, it is true that I hadn't really placed Torres Del Paine as a top bucket list item for me, but the views were incredible and I couldn't stop soaking it in. It wasn't just the towers themselves of Torres Del Paine, but the experience of walking up to the main spot. I mean, every angle you looked, there were just valleys and mountains and glaciers, and it really was breathtaking, and I would do it again. In fact, the thing that we would likely do again is go halfway up the trailhead and stay at the refuge so that we could actually spend more time at Torres Del Paine, because we really only had about an hour at the top before we had to turn around. It was like an 8-hour hike, but highly recommended. And I see why it's such a famous place for hikers across the world.
And we had a lot more hiking planned for Puerto Natales, but because I got hurt, we had to change our plans, and we decided to do a lot more water activities than we anticipated. I mean, the next day after Torres del Paine, I didn't even want to leave my bed. Johnny had to go and explore the city by himself, and I just had to stay back in the hotel and watch Netflix. So yeah, I went all the way to the end of the world to watch Netflix in my hotel room.
So we had to change our plans, look at our budget, and decide to actually spend quite a lot more money doing activities that weren't going to require Whitney to walk around very much, which were boat activities. And I'm very thankful that there were a ton of boat activities in Patagonia that we were able to do, to go see the glaciers, to go see the penguins, to go see the whales. They were not cheap, by the way. However, after the experience of seeing and doing all these things in Patagonia, I could not imagine going back again and not doing these things. So I highly recommend doing any one of these boat activities just because of how incredible they were.
The first one took off from Puerto Natales, and it was a 12-hour day. We got to see the glaciers Serrano and Balmaceda, and then they took us to a Estancia Patagonica, which is like a ranch, and they fed us Cordero, an amazing meal that I will forever remember.
The first glacier on that particular boat ride was very intense because the wind was coming around the mountain, and it was just like, it felt like you could feel the raindrops from the cloud. There's a bit of a cloud, a little bit of rain just like hitting your eyes, and it was so freaking intense. And Whitney made me stay out there for like 10-15 minutes to experience it, but I was like, I don't like this, I don't like this, I don't like this. But I'll play that clip. Getting some good photos out here, but holy crap, man, I don't know about this. It's too much. It's too much cold. But the closer we get to the glacier, the more I'm like, holy crap, that is just incredible to see. I've never seen a glacier this close in my life, and I am incredibly excited. And wait, oh my god. God.
It's Patagonia.
I really want to go inside and drink my coffee.
Put it down.
Whitney's making me stay out here. Oh. It's very beautiful. There's like ice hitting my eyes. I should have had safety goggles. The second boat tour we did was from Punta Arenas to Magdalena Island to see the penguins, and also to see another island where there was hundreds of sea lions. I've never seen so many in my life. They're just making all the noise in the world. But penguins were hilarious to see. They made really funny noises and sounds, and they were just fun to watch them wobble around. So that it was just cute and unique. That particular one didn't take as long. It was more like a 4 or 5 hour type of boat tour. So that allowed us to just go back to Punta Arenas and kind of explore the city and enjoy the city. Seagulls and penguins everywhere, all scattered everywhere. We're just now noticing a bunch of penguins in the distance, all huddled together.
How? And then we were so cold that when we got back to Punta Arenas, we found a hiking store and we got some base layer stuff, gloves, a hat, because it was just excruciatingly cold. I said the word excruciatingly.
And that was a lifesaver, making that decision, because we did an even longer boat tour. This one felt like it was about 14 hours long from the time that we had the show up and the time that it ended. But that boat tour went all the way through the Strait of Magallanes, and it was incredible, but it was super cold. And if I did not have that base layer stuff, I think I would have frozen my you-know-what off. We're staying right here because the wind, it's pretty intense. So we stay a little bit warmer in this area.
I mean, you could stay inside the boat and stay comfy and warm with all of the hot beverages that they offer, but the real experience is lived outside on the boat, experiencing the cold, the nature, the condors. Everything is awesome.
And this really was a large highlight of this trip, this particular boat ride, because it went through the strait, through the most southern point of the continental world, Cape, what was it called again? Cape something? and put it in there because I don't know. I gotta look it up. What is it called? What's the cave? Forward.
Cape Forward.
Cape Forward. And we were specifically going to see the whales. And when we saw the whales, I mean, we saw probably like, I don't know, 10, 15 of them. More. And then what also surprised me was just all the sea lions just playing around and playing around and playing around. And as just as spectacular as that was, were the mountain landscapes on all sides of the strait as we enjoyed the boat ride. It was just absolutely incredible. And we also got up and close to a couple more glaciers that just blew me away by how blue they were. We got to see them kind of break on each other and explode. And that was super cool. It was great. We also got to drink some orange juice with glacier ice. We would have done the whiskey, but we stopped drinking, so we chose the orange juice instead. It's delicious.
Seeing the whales in Patagonia had been a dream of mine since I was like 14 or 16 years old. When my dad went to the Colombian Pacific, saw the whales, and he got me a whale tail necklace that I carry around everywhere. And I always wanted to see the same whales that migrate from the Colombian Pacific all the way to the Chilean Patagonia. And just experiencing that was incredibly emotional. It was the best time for my inner teenager and child, and it was just a really emotional experience.
This area is beautiful. I can't take my eyes off it. Yeah. Got whales way down there. We have sea lions everywhere.
Yeah. It's waving to us. Hello.
Everybody is in anticipation as we wait for more whales, moss whales.
She's got her whale tail necklace.
Yeah.
She's looking for whales. So nice, good ass breeze.
When you cannot stop crying.
Give you an ice out for us.
We're gonna drink that. So,
And this is the story of how I run out of battery, because look at this glacier. And look at this like water just coming out of a glacier like that. That's freaking awesome. Is it
Big massive glacier, man.
So that was our Patagonia trip in a nutshell. We were incredibly nervous about the weather. It kind of got cold every single night. Torres Del Paine had almost perfect weather, but we kept seeing some clouds moving in and out of the area, and it kept making us nervous, but we ended up getting spectacular shots and views of the towers. Beautiful. I would do it again tenfold. The experience of the boat rides was awesome, but it was freaking cold. I'd probably come back with a scarf and some little bit heavier jackets because, you know, the wind, it was just more like the wind was just so intense. I mean, the weather was just above 0 degrees Celsius, and it had a ton of wind, but I highly recommend spending the money and going there. Even though it's expensive, it will be impressed in your mind for the rest of your life. Absolutely incredible.